Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Rich in the building. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Want to welcome the whole fam. Shout out to Black Comic Lords, the Black Superheroes Forever fam. Shout out to everywhere, all over the world. That's right, BCL is global, baby. It's your boy, Rich, again. We just happy that you guys are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got a dope show for you tonight, so we hope that you got your libation. We hope you got you something to snack on or whatever it is. Maybe you having a bag and boarding party. Maybe, you're watching something else or whatever, and you just got your boy in the background, or maybe, I'm in the foreground and you got, you're doing your thing. But I'm glad you're hanging out with your boy. So, yeah, want to shout out to everybody that's here tonight. Want to shout out to Cutthroat Comics. Robert Monroe Jr., Pericles, what up, what up, what up? Tomb Raider, what up, what up, what up? Good to see everybody in here. Cutthroat, Rich got my drink on. That's what's up. I got water over here. But yeah, so tonight, man, we're gonna go on and get into this thing, and we just gonna be here for a few minutes. We're gonna get out y'all way. This is a Real Talk with Rich, the show we do every Sunday night to get the week started. So hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. And yours truly had an awesome weekend. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of running around before showtime. And it's kind of hard getting ready for the week for a show. And then the work week, you know what I'm saying? I mean, going to the grocery store, going to church this morning, the whole 9 yards. But I'm just happy to be here. This is where I get to just chill. Azure Beast, what up, bro? Good to see you. Good to see y'all. So anyway, let's get into it. So our first segment of the show is Low Hanging Fruit. This is a segment where we get to talk about the news, things that's going on, and the worst kept secret in the world. Back on May 16th, news was leaked that Marvel is going to kill off Miss Marvel. Okay, you might ask yourself, why you want to cover this, Rich? Well, the reason why I want to cover this is because there has been a lot of outrage from people. A lot of people are upset about this. And I can quote unquote understand. But I have to remind everybody it's just comics. It's not a real human being. It's just comics. And while I won't belittle Miss Marvel fans and their, disappointment of what's going on, you're more than entitled to have your opinions about things. But it's comics. Superheroes die in comics. They come back. That's the cool part about it. They get to come back. But y'all know, Pericles, you said, oh, Twitter was up in arms over. Yes, they were. So, but and see, your boy, I don't go to Twitter because Twitter is the devil. If you're looking for a fight, you're looking for some drama, just go to Twitter. You can find it all day, every day. But this situation is unfortunate in that, they're trying to tell a story. And what they're upset about is that because, this happens in a book, Spider-Man book. A Spider-Man book, by the way, that a lot of people do not like. So this didn't do Kamala Khan fans or Spider-Man fans any favors. But what they're doing is they're going to do a one-shot. And they're going to do a one-shot, and it'll be available, I think, in July. And it'll be basically a comic book where the superhero community will come together and they will honor, funeralize, I guess, Kamala Khan. The thought is, maybe they'll bring her back, through the X-Men lens, where because in the Disney show, she was discovered to be a mutant. So they may be bringing her back through that lens. Who knows? I don't know. Listen, when it comes to Disney and it comes to Marvel, these properties, they don't belong to us. They belong to Disney. And nobody's pimp hand is stronger than Mickey Mouse. So, it's going to sell a few books. And I'm going to be honest with you. I honestly think that this is actually a money grab. I'm just being honest. Because guess what? When they killed Doctor Strange off, when they killed Doctor Strange off, you could hear crickets. Nobody was upset. that they were killing Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange been around a long time. Matter of fact, Doctor Strange been around way longer than Ms. Marvel. Nobody said nothing. Oh, they're killing off Doctor Strange. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to get a new Doctor Strange. Okay. Well, we're going to put out a Blade book with Doctor Strange in it. Okay. It was literally crickets. No one cared. But as soon as, you know, this character, who is beloved by a few people, let's just keep it a stack, you know, dies in this uproar. They called it sexist. They called it racist. I'm like, I guess only a hit dog will holler. That's all I say. Frustrated says, of course she is coming back because they're going to show how she is moving and she will be revived on Krakoa. Yeah, exactly. So if that's what they're going to do, fine. But, you know, you know, I'll be honest. I haven't run into any comic book heads at the shop that said, you know, I'm so upset. I'm so distraught. These are people that, you know, live and breathe on Twitter. So the outrage that they have on Twitter is a little different than in person. You're not going to be that strong with your language. You're not going to be that strong with your disappointment. So, you know, again, I think this is kind of, you know, for some, it's kind of, I'm going to be honest, it's false outrage. But, you know, I'll acknowledge it, you know what I'm saying, because it's out there. About Robert Monroe Jr. says, people should realize that the Marvel's movie about to be released. This is for attention. She's not going to be dead forever. Exactly. They do this kind of stuff. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, look, I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I kind of heard that people was upset about it, I was like, really? And I mean, I get it that, you know, you don't want your favorite comic book character to like die. No one does. But that's what they do. When they killed off the Justice League, these same people that's losing their mind over Kamala Khan didn't say nothing because maybe they weren't DC fans. But the minute it's your character, oh, we need to have a protest. Oh, we need to shut Marvel down. Oh, we need to do this. Like, come on, all right. You know, it's comics, guys. It's comics. So, you know, again, I don't want to make it seem like that I don't care. Truth is, I don't care. But I'm not saying I don't care from the standpoint that I'm not a Kamala Khan fan. I liked the Disney Plus show. I enjoyed it. But I don't have but a handful of Kamala Khan books in my long box. In my long box as far as my collection goes. I'm not a fan. So I don't have a personal stake. And someone would say, well, why are you even commenting on it? Well, I'm a comic head, number one. Number two, I think, you know, this outrage or whatever goes to show you how immature and how naive the fan base in 2023 is. You know, the fandom today is not the same as the fandom from back in the day. Could you please bring up that question again? I just missed it. Also, HNS says, why do you think they announced this in advance? Well, it got leaked. That was the first thing. It got leaked back on May 16th. Now, again, I think that they did it to bring some attraction to the movie, for sure. They definitely, you know, it didn't hurt them. See, one thing I learned about publicity is that there's no such thing as bad publicity. You know, good publicity, all publicity is good. Bad, negative, or whatever, it's all good. It may not be good for some people, but for Marvel, all it means is people are going to go to the shop, they're going to buy that one shot, they're going to try to dig this book out. That book will not, when it goes on sale, you won't be able to find it. They're going to probably do about 10 million different kinds of covers on it or whatever. And, you know, Marvel will get a little bread, and then there'll be some intrigue, and people will go to the movie theaters with this on their mind or whatever. And the big thought is when she gonna come back, how she gonna come back. You know, again, it's what Marvel does. Cutthroat makes a point. He says they killed off Superman and he came back. Absolutely. And that was a big deal. That was a big deal. Captain America, when they killed off Captain America, they kill off characters. This is what they do, and you know what I'm saying, but they come back. But again, to all of the Miss Marvel fans that are out there, you have my deepest sympathy. Having said that, let's move to our next story. We got to move on. Speaking of Miss Marvel, what else was shade there? Blade's daughter is becoming the next Miss Marvel. This CBR article is basically making the point or the idea that Brielle Brooks, daughter of Eric Brooks, aka Blade, has an opportunity to be the next Miss Marvel. Well, what does that mean? Well, simply put, it means that she is in a position to have a fan base that is preteen, teenage, young, adult, superhero fandom. She's likable. She's very, very impressionable. She's very, she's got skills. I'm enjoying the Brielle, the Bloodline Daughter of Blade book. This is the issue number 4. It just came out. Great issue, written by Donnie Lore. Let me bring it back. I'm sorry. Go put it back up. Yeah, there it is right there. Bloodline. Yeah, that's issue number 4. Real good issue. Real good run, to be honest with you. And, so I can see where they're, this is a very, I won't go as far as to say a kid-friendly book, but this is definitely in that vein. This could literally turn into, if Marvel is playing the quote-unquote diversity inclusion game, which they claim that they are, they would do themselves a favor and not only make Strange Academy a show on Disney Plus, but give Brielle Brooks a show as well, because she could tap into that, teenage young market that Marvel really craves. Cutthroat says, I can't wait for Blade daughter to become the next female superhero. Yeah, I mean, again, she's very, very cool. I like her as a character. She's not woke. She's just a teenage kid, learning about who she is, and she has angst like any other teenager, but it's tempered. It's not dramatic. She's not a drama queen. She's a real balanced character. So they should really take care of her. She has an opportunity to be very, very popular. And that's all they're saying in this article, that CBR is saying in the article, that she has the opportunity to be very. Now, will she show up in other books? Again, I'm hoping that they will do something beyond this, because I think this is not, I think it's a limited series. But we'll see. You know what I'm saying? I liked her interaction with Blade. It's been pretty cool. So yeah, that's what's up. So with that, we're going to move to the next talking point, and that's going to be about Guardians of the Galaxy. So for those of you that have been crawling, that been hiding under a rock, or I don't know where you've been, but if you have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, you're doing yourself a disservice. This was a real good movie. A real good movie. Man, I will say in my opinion, this is of the 3 movies, this was the best one. Number 1 was good. Number 2 was not so good. But number 3, I feel like, is very good. Very solid movie. Man, definitely a tearjerker. Hilarious and very, very, just, I mean, for one minute I'm shedding tears. The next minute I'm bent over laughing. Very, very, a very geeky comic book movie. This is something that Marvel has not done in a minute. It's ironic that this is James Gunn's swan song for Marvel. He knocked it out the park. This was literally a very balanced 2.5-hour movie. A lot of people were tripping about the rocket story. They think it shouldn't have been about that. I don't know what these fans think they wanted out of a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Maybe they wanted more story about Groot. Maybe they wanted more story about Dax. Maybe they wanted more story about Gamora. I don't know. But the story that we did get, particularly with Rocket, I think was very good in that it took you literally back to why Rocket was the way he was in the first movie. And it was great, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every minute of it. I had a big bucket of popcorn, and I literally was just, stuck in my seat the whole time because I literally emptied that bucket of popcorn about a halfway through the movie. But I didn't even really want to get up to go get more popcorn. I didn't want to miss nothing. It was just that good, in my opinion. And again, it's just a great Marvel film. We hadn't had a fun Marvel film in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Just to go to show you, Ant-Man was Ant-Man. Shout out to all you Ant-Man fans out there. It is what it is. So, shout out to James Gunn, who's doing this thing over at DC now. But yeah, go see Guardians, man. It was a dope movie. It really, really was. I like what they did with Gamora. Gamora comes back. Cut was Ant-Man wasn't that great. Oh, it wasn't. It wasn't great at all. There was nothing great about that movie. But Gamora, I like what they did with Gamora because Gamora, she comes back and she has no recollection of this relationship she's had with Star-Lord. And I like how they did that, how they kind of teased it a little bit. Maybe we were gonna get back together. Maybe they weren't, you know what I'm saying? I liked it. And what I liked about it was that it kept it real. Shout out to James Gunn for keeping it real. Because it's like, Gamora was like, dude, I don't know you. I'm pretty sure you were cool. And we may have had lots of fun, but I'm just not that chick right now. I'm just not that chick anymore. And so she literally, is carving her own path. So I don't know if Gamora is going to be in other movies or whatever going forward, but yeah, I enjoyed that. And I also enjoyed what they did with Nebula. I thought Nebula was pretty funny in this movie too. And Dax is just hilarious. I mean, shout out to Batista. I think Batista's done with Dax. He has made statements in the past that working out to try to keep up this body he has because he's in his 50s. It's been taxing playing Dax. So I think he's done playing Dax. So we may not see Dax for a while, or we'll get a recast of somebody else. But either way, yeah, man. Now, let's see. Robert Monroe says, caught a special midnight showing of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, one of the best MCU releases in a while. Watched Quantum Mania on Disney Plus the other day. Disney owed me 2 hours of your life back. Well, look, I'm going to be honest. Listen, now, shout out to Disney, because Disney's about to pull the plug on a lot of stuff. We all know that they're actually going to put Hulu on Disney Plus. And what that means is that they're going to take certain stuff, off the platforms. So if, for those of you that been looking at the Disney Plus stuff and you've been looking at this one show and you just hadn't sat down to watch it, you might watch it because some of that stuff is going to disappear. Now, whether that be, I don't know, the original Silver Surfer cartoon, that the X-Men stuff or whatever, they're taking some stuff off the platform and they're probably putting it out there for other streaming services to stream exclusively. So, but that's business, so that's one thing about the fandom that I hate in a way is that, at the end of the day, it's a business and, what's not working, people throw away. And that's why the comic book industry is changing daily because some stuff is just not working like it used to anymore. So yeah, now, this dude here, listen, the High Evolutionary. Now, first of all, let me preface by saying that I am an animal lover. I love animals. I own a dog. And I love animals in general. I enjoy Now, I'm not a radical animal lover, meaning that I go to zoos. I enjoy watching animals in their habitat, and I like going to zoos. That's something that me and my wife enjoy. We travel all over the country and wherever we go, we always make a point to go to that city's zoo. Matter of fact, if you ever in Memphis, go to the Memphis Zoo. It's one of the best zoos in the country, if not the world. It's amazing. So anyway, but this dude, I was ready for that. I was ready for them to kill him. I just could not wait. I just could not wait for him to get some get back. I mean, dude was brutal. He was a good villain. He was a good villain. Shout out to that guy. I can't think of his name right off the bat, but I enjoyed his role as the High Evolutionary. Man, that dude had me hot that whole movie. I'm just like, why are you doing this? But that's what villains do. Villains do things. They have their own modus operandi, and they just, this guy here did a great job, man. He was a great villain. I don't know if they're going to bring him back. Okay, there it is. Chuck Uji. Okay, yeah, that guy. I know that they talking about him. He was wanting to do other things. But man, I'm like, they need to bring him back as the higher of. Let him do some more damage because he was tripping in that whole movie. I mean, that dude had no soul at all. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was Mephisto. I just said dude had no soul at all. He was a great villain. And see, I think that's something that a lot of superhero movies need to take their cues from because, yes, he is Nigerian. They need to take their cues from a villain like that because sometimes we try to make villains too relatable. But even though that dude's a brother, listen, if there was a racial Olympics, we trading him. Sorry, bro. You got to go. We trading the High Evolutionary for somebody. It was like, you can't come to the cookout. You can't bring ice. You can't even bring the meat. You can't even DJ. Okay. Dude was just nasty. I mean, that was a great movie. That was a very entertaining guy. Very, very good job. I mean, I enjoyed that movie. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, man, was dope, man. You're not going to see that. You need to go to the theater to see that. That needs to be experienced on a big screen. This is not something you want to just, I'll wait to Disney Plus. You don't want to wait to Disney Plus. You want to go see that. You want to go get the popcorn. You want to watch that in 3D. You want to watch that with IMAX. That's a movie to go see in IMAX. So yeah, that's what's up. Shout out to James Gunn and Marvel and Guardians of the Galaxy. That was a dope movie, man. He said I had a Michael Vick joke, but never. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it, Beard. Don't do it, bro. Yeah, he was responsible for the high body count in this movie. That's what's up, Derek. You're for real. I mean, like, dude was just kill everybody. I'm like, he didn't bat an eye. He was that guy. That was like Satan incarnate, dude. That dude was great villain. Y'all talk about Thanos, but that dude, he like, I can see him and Thanos sitting down at a meal. Like, bruh, you tripping. But anyway, I was literally, I'll be honest, like I said, I love animals. I was literally triggered by this dude because, again, I love animals and what he was doing and how they kind of, I'm like, bruh, I just could not. I mean, it got me here, dude. I'm like, and then when I'm watching Rocket, look at these little raccoons in this cage, and I'm like, bruh, really? This what we doing? This what we doing? My question to Marvel is, how y'all let this guy go? If this is the kind of talent he is. Now I understand he can go overboard at times. I get that. But man, I mean, he did the thing in this movie. Robert says, when he smiled, the evil really came out. He was a brilliant villain. Yes, he was. I don't know what his preparation for this film was, or what they gave him to read or whatever, man. But yeah, he nailed it. He knocked it out the park. So H&A says, what did you think about Adam Warlock? Okay, now, personally speaking, as a comic head, I did not like Adam Warlock in this, because Adam Warlock should have been a part of the Infinity Saga, in my opinion. And I know technically this may be a part of the Infinity Saga, but he was okay. He was okay. I didn't, I mean, he's a very powerful being. They never spoke to the Infinity Stone in his head. None of that. They couldn't, I guess, because we've seen all these movies. But he was okay. He was okay. I could have taken. He could have taken. I could have taken it, leave it. I'm sorry. When it came to Adam Warlock, what H&A says when Rocket said hurt. Yeah, I mean, he said this is how he said. He said hurt. I was like, bruh, really? I was like, I thought I was watching Wakanda Forever. I'm like, hey, I'm tired of crying in Marvel movies. Y'all stop it. Stop. Stop the madness. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. I mean, man, I just, I had to know, I have to believe that when they filmed this and they started doing scenes like that they probably had to take a moment. Cause yeah, that was all in the fields. They got the wrong actor to be Adam Warlock. Well, I won't say that. I mean, I get the point though, frustrated. I just think that they didn't give him the story. I think the story, I mean, and perhaps they couldn't really deal with that because they left him out of the Infinity Saga. He should have been there from the very beginning, in my opinion. Because you can't really talk about the Infinity War, you can't really talk about the Infinity Gauntlet. Well, you can, but I mean, he's like right there. So, but they may do something with him in the future along that line if they still want to play in that box, because they still got a lot of story that they could tell in regards to the Infinity Stone. So we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, shout out to all of you guys that have watched the Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a great film. I'm sorry, brother, about the 2 hours you lost watching Quantumania. It is what it is. Yeah, Robert, you have you like the Kamala Khan fans, you have my deepest sympathy. So yo, look, that's all we got for that's all we got, man, for low-hanging fruit. We're gonna transition. We're gonna take a commercial break and get into a spotlight of the show, and we're gonna talk a few comics, and we're gonna get into this. So we're gonna take a commercial break. It's gonna be a few minutes, and it's a Rich Recommends. So we hadn't had a Rich Recommends in a minute, and I think you'll enjoy it. Some dope comic books. So at this time, take you some time, refill your glass, pour you another drinky drink, get you some potato chips or whatever, and come back and hang out with us. We'll be right back. Contrary to popular opinion, slavery isn't America's original sin. If anything, it was merely a symptom. Greed is America's original sin. Greed delights that can be found in Green Arrow, Volume 3, Issues 26 through 31, in a story called Straight Shooter, written by Judd Winnick and Phil Hester on pencils. Our fly guy with the arrows, Oliver McQueen, happens upon a group of disgruntled ex-employees of a corporation attempting to slow down progress by halting construction.
You see, progress has many names: gentrification, urban renewal, and my personal favorite, community revitalization. Yes, tear down neighborhoods, tear down the housing of black and brown, put up hotels and businesses and eating establishments so young, upcoming, rich, mostly white folk can buy an electric car, stop in a swanky coffee shop for $10 lattes, and pick up some tights for yoga nights at the gym. Yummy. Now, Ali, the Green Arrow, hit the white man's lottery. He's rich, blonde, and blue eyes. But what makes Ali endearing is that he doesn't care for snobs and isn't above shading a Republican. Anyway, as he tries to figure out what's upsetting these immigrants while they sabotaging their former employees' contributions to progress, he runs into an ace boon coon, Jefferson Pierce, aka Black Light. These days, though, Jeff isn't fighting the man in Suicide Slum. These days, Jeff works as Secretary of Education in the White House with Lex Luthor. Say it ain't so, Jeff. But Jeff is like a lot of optimistic, delusional black people. He's trying to affect change from the inside. Okay, Jeff, if you say so. Part of that mission is in seeking out Ali to fight the power. Folks will always tell you to speak truth to power, but the problem is money talks. Well, you know the rest. But Jeff has a niece, Joanna Pierce, an attorney for the good people of Lamb Valley. She's representing all those night folks who are being evicted for a Peloton and pretzel shop. Jeff wants to help her and asks Ali to do what he likes to do, which is stick it to corporate, greedy Gretchens. And of course, hilarity ensues by way of monsters in back alleys and monsters in designer suits. All the while, Ali is fancying his own type of greed. After all, Joanna hit the black woman's lottery. Fine, smart, and educated. Put these two together and, well, life is gonna life, if you know what I'm saying. But through it all, they try to fight the good fight of crime. But casualties are on the menu, leading to all sorts of fallout. Straight Shooter is filled with all sorts of greed, but irony cuts through, leaving Ali and Jeff, two superheroes, feeling less than super. Pick this up and enjoy the ride. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, peace.
Yes. Shout out to my producer Derek for putting together that Rich Recommends Green Arrow. I know y'all figure like, man, how you pull that out of the pocket, that story. It's a dope story. So go check that out. We're going to run that on our YouTube channel. And, it's just some no cool books for you to check out. And, I'm a Black Lightning fan. So, yeah, I had to rock with it. And, that's my guy. So, yeah, I'm going to pick up that comic book for sure. I love Green Arrow. That's what's up. Yeah. Love Green Arrow. Green Arrow's got I haven't, we're getting ready to talk about some DC books, but I didn't pick up the Green Arrow book this week. But we're going to talk a lot of DC in a second. And, comics, man, comics is comics. That's all I'm going to say. So we have a new, I would say, new rollout. So you're going to drop that after my shop's close, OG. I mean, bro, you find those in your long box. You find it, you'll be able to find it. Yeah, it took a minute for me to get there. I'm gonna be honest. That story arc that falls, it took me a minute to put it together. But those boxes, I mean, those issues are in long boxes and in dollar bins. You'd be able to find. You may have to piece it together, but yeah, they out there. It's not like it's hard to find. Yeah. So happy hunting. That's all I'm gonna say. So DC has a new rollout, Dawn of DC. I know I got a Marvel shirt on, but I'm a DC guy. And Paul, shout out to Paul, he likes to put this label on me. He's like, Richard, you the DC guy for Black Comic Lords. And I'm like, yeah, I like, a lot of DC characters, and I do read a lot of DC books. And, do I like everything that DC does? No. But I do rock with them on certain, and I've enjoyed some of the Dawn of DC rollout. You know what I'm saying? So tonight we're going to talk about a few of those books. First book we're going to talk about is Cyborg. Now, Cyborg is a dope book. This is the dope first issue. I'm telling you, go guys, go pick it up. I'm not going to spoil anything for those of you who may be late to the party, but you should go pick this up. You know what I'm saying, for real, because Morgan Hampton, he did his thing in this book, and we had an interview with him. So I want you guys to go back onto our YouTube channel and check out the interview we did with Morgan Hampton talking about Cyborg. So basically, Cyborg is one of these cats where he's trying to figure out life because he's a cyborg, okay? But he's wrestling with, who he is, his legacy in terms of his father. I think that story or that trope is kind of long in the tooth, but that's kind of what they've been rolling with. But Victor Stone is a likable guy. I think that no one will tell you I don't like Cyborg. If you somebody that says I don't like Cyborg, you got a problem. You might need to seek out, some counseling. Victor Stone's a likable guy, but I'm enjoying this iteration of Cyborg, and this first issue was pretty cool, Got a great start, and I wrestled with Cyborg's identity in regards to him being on the Teen Titans and him being one time being a part of the Justice League. Been a part of the Justice League for a long time. He's been a part of the Teen Titans a long time. And I'm like, okay, y'all want this guy to be a young guy? Or y'all want this guy to be an older guy? What y'all doing this? But this reboot or this relaunch of the DC brand, Cyborg's a part of that, and so he's also a part of the Teen Titans. And we'll get into Titans in a minute, but yeah, man, that's a real good book, man. I mean, my man Amir said he read it 3 times. So yeah, that's the guy there, Morgan Hampton. Dope interview. Him and Paul, they chopped it up a bit about Cyborg, and yeah, so good things should come out of this this run. This guy really, really likes the character, and he shared some things about what he's going to try to do with Cyborg. So yeah, y'all should pick this up if you hadn't picked it up already. So that's that. Let's talk about Titans. Now, here's the crazy thing about Titans. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? The Justice League is not around. Now, I don't know when the Justice League is coming back, but they basically said in Titans that there is no Justice League, that the Justice League is over, and that the Titans are going to be the teen book as far as Dawn of DC is concerned. What does that mean? That means your man's Nightwing, Cyborg, Starfire, Beast Boy, Wonder Girl, they gonna be they the squad. They the squad. They are the squad. They pretty much, Tom Taylor pretty much laid it out that if you guys looking for Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, no, it's Titans. So Titans is a good book. You should get this book. What I like about it is they didn't, yes, so they are basically the new Justice League. Yes. And look, they basically said, through a appearance of peacekeepers in this book, they basically said, yeah, these guys are going to be a problem. And Peacekeeper was talking to Amanda Waller when he said this. So, yeah, you might want to go ahead and go and pick this up, because this is the direction DC is going right now. Now, you'll still be able to pick up your Batman books. You'll be able to still pick up your Wonder Woman books. You'll still be able to pick up your, Superman books, all of that stuff. But for now, the Justice League is not around. It's about the Titans. So there is and here's the thing, Dawn of DC has a number of titles. There is a Green Lantern book. There's a Flash book. There's appreciate that, 1 in 100 podcast. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. There's all your traditional superhero books, they're out there. We're getting ready to talk about one now, but I'm not even talking about this book because of the main character. But I'm talking about this book, talking about the next book I'm going to talk about, because of the secondary story that is in the book. And that book is Action Comics, Superman. Now, Superman versus Metallo, good story. Story's good, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people don't rock with Superman like that, but I'm one of those people that do. I love Superman. Because he's a complex character that oftentimes gets overlooked because it's like, okay, he's the good guy, he's the Boy Scout in blue and whatever, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of nuance with Superman, I think, that gets overlooked. But the secondary story in this book, Steel, Engineer Tomorrow, I picked this up strictly for that story, because there's getting ready to be a Dawn of DC book called Steelworks that's coming out. 1 in 100 podcasts. Yes, there's a secondary story. There's two stories in this book. Actually, there's a Lois and Clark story, and then there's a Steel story, because that's what they're doing. The Green Lantern book that's out right now that features Hal Jordan. I listened to this one guy's podcast. I was told by the management of Black Comic Lords that I was not allowed to shout out certain podcasters, because we didn't, if you're gonna shade them, we don't want no blood in the street. So I can't say who I was watching, except to say this, that this guy literally, I mean, he was all in his feels that Hal Jordan was back as Green Lantern. He was so excited. It was like, Hal Jordan was like the second coming of Jesus. it was kind of, I just kind of just looked at myself and I was like, boy, these fanboys are something else. But, in that book though, there's a secondary John Stewart story. So that's what's going on in some of the Dawn of DC books. Main characters are having secondary stories. And those secondary stories, going to be some Black folks. So it is what it is. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with Wonder Woman, meaning that I'm not sure if there's going to be a Nubia story in the back of that, but there was a secondary Nubia story in Lazarus, the Rising of a Lazarus, I think. Lazarus of the Rising of the Gods, I think that's the name of it. But there was a secondary story in that run. It was like 4 issues. So these characters are out there, guys, but they may not be the primary character in the book. I got to get action now. I have Steelworks pre-ordered. Well, I mean, again, it's just I'm not sure how long they're going to do this, but from what I can gather, I'm thinking that they just put this in here to prepare when Steelworks comes out, because Steelworks comes out in June, I believe. So shout out to the month of June. It's going to be dope. So when are people going to realize that Hal Jordan is the worst Green Lantern? Look, I will say this. Hal, I won't say he's the worst Green Lantern. He may be the most disliked Green Lantern. But is he the worst? I don't know. I don't want to give that to Kyle Rayner, because a lot of people like Kyle, even though Kyle can be a jackbutt at times. But it is what it is. Hal fans get joy and heck on earth about his GL run. They do. C. Cole, they do. They didn't like Jeffrey Thorne's iteration. And the funny thing is that this same guy that I was listening to talk about Hal Jordan, admitted as much, that he thought that Jeffrey Thorne was just trying to expand the lore, that he wasn't trying to consciously cripple or destroy Green Lantern. He didn't like the run, but he had to at least respect the effort that he was making to try to expand on a story, and particularly a character that had been underused for decades by DC. So, excuse us for giving John Stewart, who some believe is the best Green Lantern, a little glow. But anyway, that's what's up with that. So they better have a secondary Jace Fox story hiding somewhere. Look, I don't know how long Jace Fox is going to be on the shelf. Now, the thought is when Justice League comes back that he may be the Batman in that story, in that iteration. But Justice League is not going to be out for a while. So I don't know if Jace Fox is on the horizon anytime soon, guys. I mean, we'll see. I like Jace Fox. That 18-issue run, I Am Batman, was pretty good by John Ridley. I know a lot of people don't like John Ridley because of what he did with Black Panther, but there was nothing bad about that John Ridley run of I Am Batman. I think Batman fans, a lot of them missed the boat on that. But, you know, you snooze, you lose. It is what it is. The McFarlane Toys are making Jace Fox figures. They should. They should. They know people bought that book. That's which is why it was around for 18 issues. You know, but was it doing Bruce Wayne Batman numbers? No. Nobody's doing Bruce Wayne Batman numbers. The Justice League wasn't doing Bruce Wayne Batman numbers. Superman wasn't doing Bruce Wayne Batman numbers. No one does. You know. Oh, so sorry, I meant Luke Fox's Batman. Yes. You know, that's another Batman that they could use, but he's part of the Bat family. So, you know, they could do a whole lot. They could bring him in Batman Incorporated. There's places for them. They just got to figure out what they want to do with them. So that's what's up. But anyway, we're going to shift gears again. We're going to get into our spotlight of tonight. Tonight, we want to, oh, that's right. We got one other book. I'm sorry, Monarch. Thank you, Derek. Keep me on my toes. Monarch by Rodney Barnes. Great book. Great book. If you are someone that likes science fiction. Now, Rodney Barnes writes superhero books. He writes horror comics. And dude can write a pretty good science fiction book. Monarch is a good book. It's a good book. I promise you, it's a good book. At some point, they are going to have to, Rodney Barnes' name is going to ring bells in their arena, I would say. He definitely ringing bells in our community, but they got to get this guy some respect. They give that because Marvel just wanted, I'm gonna be honest, I think he got the Mandalorian comic book because they wanted to be in the Rodney Barnes business. They just look, dude, you ain't gotta even, all you gotta do is just a script based on the show. You ain't gotta get creative. We just want your words in our comic book about this character. That's how dope he is. But now, another Image title, this book, Monarch, is dope. And it's got Black love in it. It's got science fiction intrigue in it. It's about kids. I'm enjoying this comic. And I'm gonna be honest, it ain't on the shelf. It's in the stores, but it ain't on the shelf, meaning that people are going to get this book off the shelf. So, guys, we say it all the time here, pre-order your books. You don't want to miss out on this. He says Rodney is getting that Eisner this year. I hope so, man. I hope he's getting the Eisner. I know he got nominated again for Philadelphia. I'm hoping that they do right by him. Bitterroot won it last year. He should get it this year. But he's got some stiff competition. But I mean, if everything goes like it should go, he should get that. He probably should have got the not poo-pooing Bitterroot for getting the Eisner last year, but he probably should have got it last year, in my opinion. But he definitely has done enough work in Philadelphia to warrant getting that book this year. And he's writing on is getting that Ciabatta for the Blackula book and from the Mando and 2 from the Mando. Yeah. Speaking of Mandalorian, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they gave the guy another season on that. So he's doing He killing it, man. That's all I can say. Rodney Barnes is killing the game. He is killing the game. But yeah, go check out Monarch. It's a sci-fi story. And again, Rodney Barnes is just diversifying his portfolio in this comic book game. He writes comic books he can write superhero books. He can write science fiction books. He can write horror, certainly. Man, it's going to be a while. One of the things that I'm doing in my collection right now is I'm starting to make long boxes, not dedicated to certain titles, but I'm actually putting together boxes or sections of my collection based on writers. You know, I'm working right now on Dwayne McDuffie, but I'm eventually going to move to Rodney Barnes because he's my favorite. Killer Duffy's my favorite comic book right now. But I'm going to have enough books to justify a section of my collection that this is my Dwayne McDuffie section and this is my Rodney Barnes section. That's why I'm hoping that the stuff that he does on Substack, that eventually he will put it in print. I've been pleading with him to put it in print because that guy's a great writer. That guy's a great writer. Barnes is doing great work. Philadelphia, Need a Horse, Nightmare Blog, and now Monarch. Put them all on your pull list. Yes, they should be. Please, please, please. Let's keep this guy books on the shelf for real. And you know, Blackula, that's like another ace in the hole. I mean, I'm saying the Blackula graphic novel was amazing. I enjoyed it. And he's a part of the Philadelphia universe. So he can pull out Blackula and think about it. We got the Philadelphia returns in October. But could you imagine Al Simmons, Blackula, all of them in the same comic book? I want y'all to think about that for a moment. Spawn, Blackula, all in the Philadelphia universe. That's probably going to happen sooner than later. But Philadelphia does return in October. So stay tuned. So don't forget McDuffie on Hellraiser Comics in the 90s. Yeah, well, that's the thing about McDuffie. McDuffie did all kind of stuff, bro. McDuffie did an Exo-Man of War book for Valiant. He did a 2-issue book for She-Hulk. He did a lot for the Justice League. Dude his fingerprints is on a lot of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I got a ways to go to complete my short box on Dwayne McDuffie. I hadn't even got to the Hellraiser stuff yet, but yeah, I just completed my Exo-Man of War stuff, and yeah, Dwayne McDuffie is my favorite comic book writer, but Rodney Barnes is my favorite comic book writer today. So shout out to both of them. Double Dragon comic from Marvel, yeah. He's the guy. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. So anyway, guys, look, we got to transition to our next segment. Spotlight. Tonight, I want to spotlight Amazing Man. Now, Amazing Man's character, first appearance is their All-Star Squadron, number 23, I want to say that is. Yes. And this is a character from the 1940s. Okay? His origin story begins in the 40s. William Everett. William Everett's a dope character, very underused by DC, but he is one of their original Black characters. He's also a legacy character in that his grandson and a cousin became Amazing Man as well. That character right there, or this iteration, William Everett, that's his first appearance, All-Star Squadron 23. Okay. Some notable issues of comics that you should go after in regards to this particular character. All-Star Squadron issues 38 through 40. Those are basically Amazing Man comics that you should get. Great story. Won't spoil it for you guys, but those are some books that you should go get. All-Star Squadron issue 38 through 40, which features the original Amazing Man. Also, the second, the William Everett III, the grandson, appears in what is it's the next book, Justice League America, issue 86. That's the first appearance of Amazing Man, the grandson, William Everett III. So this is a legacy character. We talk about legacy characters, right? We talk about how we don't want to see characters with the original character being white and then they race swap them. And this is not the case with this character. This was that character's grandson, William Everett III. And of course, the last one, the third one rather, there's 4 Amazing Mans. I don't want to ignore that, the fourth one. But this is the last iteration Black Amazing Man, which is Marcus Clay. His first appearance is Justice Society number 12. Okay? Now, cool thing about this is Evan Narcisse, who we interviewed recently, did a story on Amazing Man in DC Power that came out in February of this year. And so that's the most recent book of Evan Narcisse. However, I do want to make a note that there is a Amazing Man story in a comic book. Derek, can you make me big, like Robert Fordham would say? I want to show these guys this book. This book here, Justice Society number 1 from 2010. Kevin Greavy has a Amazing Man story in this book. Yes, Kevin Greavy of Blue Marvel fame, Kevin Greavy of Dark Storm fame, Kevin Greavy of Underworld fame, did a Amazing Man story. And the name of the story is called Amazing Grace. So you should try to go find this. And again, that's Justice Society number 1. It's an 80-page giant. But Kevin Greavy has like a 5-page story in this book. And of course, as you can see him right there on the bottom, Mr. Terrific is in the book as well. So that's my spotlight as far as Amazing Man is concerned. Dope character, original Black character, Black legacy character. So he checks all the boxes, is what I'm getting at. So when people talk about original characters, Black characters, legacy characters, this guy's the whole package. Why isn't why isn't DC using him more? I don't know, except to say that he's out there. Evan Narcisse just did a story. Hopefully, maybe they'll give Evan Narcisse a little run, and maybe they can give us a few issues in the future. But he did do the DC Power story. It was a good story too. But yeah, check out that Kevin Greavy story in that Justice Society number 1 from 2010 as well. So he says, C. Cole says, that one, although I'm not sure if it's the cover I own. Yeah. So yeah, that's my spotlight for Amazing Man on tonight. Shout out to William Everett III, and Marcus Clay. Black original characters. We're here for it at Black Comic Lords. With that being said, we're going to transition to Rich Recommends. This is the segment of the show where I give you a comic book that I want to recommend and a graphic novel that I want to recommend. That I'm telling you, if I'm putting my name on the line, putting my reputation on the line as a comic head, saying that you should get this because 1, it's important, 2, it's good, and why not? First is the comic book, and that comic book is Peter Parker's Spider-Man. We have it? Yeah. Peter Parker's Spider-Man number 7. Guest starring Blade. Now, this is a cool story in that, Peter Parker is doing his thing, and he's running into some vampires who have infiltrated the mob. And so Peter's a skeptic, and so he runs into Blade, well, because Blade is hunting these guys down. He follows them from New Orleans. They've made their way to New York, and so Blade does what Blade does. And yeah, so I think this is a fun book to pick up. I think you'll enjoy it. And drawn by John Marita Jr. So what's not to love about that? So go pick that up. That's Peter Parker Spider-Man #7. Some more 90 goodness for you folk out there. This next book is a graphic novel or a graphic collection, African American Classics. Now, the reason why I chose this book is because we talk about, collecting our history. We talk about, stories are important, things of that nature. But we have real heroes in our community. We don't suffer from identity crisis in regard to heroes. If we want diversity in our lives in terms of our fandom, I'll be honest with you, that's literally, icing on the cake for us, because we have real heroes. And some of these real heroes are writers and activists and things of that nature. And in this particular story, in this particular graphic novel, you'll find, stories about poetry from Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, W.E.B. Du Bois, Paul Laurence Dunbar, Claude McKay, and you might ask this question, who's illustrating this book? Afua Richardson. We all know her. Kyle Baker, the GOAT, the legend, Trevor Von Eaton, Jeremy Love, Lance Tooks. So there's some good notable names in this particular book. And again, you're going to find poetry, you're going to find stories in a graphic novel setting. So, this might be something that you want to get for your kids. This might be something that you just want for yourself. I think that you will enjoy it. And it's a conversation piece as well. If you someone that deals with young people and you want them to know their history, or you want them to know, about people or how life was back in the early 1900s, and what's not to love about that? You can share this with your children, or you can share this with your partners, or with your friends. Just talking about history. We talk about Zora Neale Hurston, legend. I just think that we need to really continue to not only push superhero, science fiction, graphic novels, things of that nature, but we also need to make sure that we're sprinkling in real history in the midst of it, because our community is distinct in its evolution and in its progression based on our history in America. And so for these, people that put this together in a novel, this is almost like a history book, because especially out there in Florida, they trying to shut down anything that has anything to do with Black history. But that's another story for another day. So yeah, pick that up, African American Classics. You can find that at your LCS, or you can order it off Amazon. But either way, I think there'll be a welcome addition to your collection. It's a conversation piece, and it's just, we talk about owning our history, and owning our history is just not collecting a comic book. While we always say buy the comics, read the comics, I want us to also find our fandom married to our art as well. So our history, I should say, married to our art. What I mean? That's important, I think. So that's what's up with that. With that said, with Rich Recommends, we are going to transition to chat talk. I want to know your thoughts. What are you guys reading? What are you guys interested in? What are your thoughts? What questions you might have for me about certain books? I read a lot of books this week. I only covered a few. So we can talk whatever you guys want to talk about right now. So y'all fire away in the chat. Also, while I'm here, I forgot to mention this. If you want to show a little bit of love, you can like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're feeling charitable, if you like what you see that I do and what we as Black Comic Lords do, you can also donate, through Super Chat. And we will appreciate it. Helps us keep the lights on, helps us keep things moving, helps us pay for bills, because this stuff ain't cheap, y'all. Just saying. So anything that you guys do to support us, we deeply appreciate it. If you want to buy some merch, you can go to blackcomiclords.net. We got a lot of dope t-shirts, things that you can buy on a hat, mug, whatever. Frustrated hits us with 5 for the fam. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Can we hit him with that super chat? Our super chat. Thank you, sir. Come on, Derek.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you, Frustrated. So 1-in-1 says, who is Calvin comic behind you? Okay, this comic here, little kids introducing Calvin. That is the third, I believe. Let me just get it right. Shout out to Big Phil. It's the third Black character to have his own title at Marvel Comics. It's basically I'll pull it out. So you see it. It's basically, this is it here. This is the history. This is one of our, I would say, Black keys. But again, this is like the third Black character to have his own name and a title, and was drawn and written by a Black guy. That's all we know. Unfortunately, that's a part of our history that we don't, we're unable to discover. The guy that did the book, he literally disappeared. But that's a Marvel comic that you can find in long boxes. A lot of people don't know nothing about that book. A lot of people do. One thing about Black Comic Lords is that we we try to put people up on game. We try to, shed light on the forgotten, and expose the shade in these companies. Question is what is your favorite DC comic book, Rich? Are we talking about historically, or are we talking about currently? Cutthroat. Which are we talking historically, or are we talking about current? Because I got a lot of favorite DC books, but as far as and then my favorite character for characters in comics period is Batman. I'm a Batman guy. But my favorite comic book character currently. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Kind of hard to say. And the reason why I say it's kind of hard to say because DC has just redone their thing. With the Dawn of DC stuff is coming. What I've been reading, I stopped reading Batman for a minute. I'm back on it again. But as far as the current stuff, Nightwing gets a nod. The thing is, there are no real. I mean, outside of Batman, there hasn't really been a lot of books that I've enjoyed from DC. DC is just kind of, as far as the DC stuff goes, the milestone stuff is what I've been reading as far as of late. And they just started back with Static. But the Icon versus Hardware book, I'm enjoying that. And can somebody please get us the next issue? Please, it's been a minute. Where's that book? Where is that book? Frustrated says, how do you feel about the new Terra crossover that DC is about to do, following so closely to... We'll see. Now, there is a Free Comic Book Day. They promoted a crossover. Then the Dawn of DC stuff. And I'm going to be honest, I'm staying away from all of it. I'm not even bothering with it. Because the last crossover that I really dug into was the Endless Winter. And while that was an okay story, I recognized that it was literally a money grab. And I don't want to do that no more with DC. I've been burned too many times with DC behind that. And what I hate with DC is the last crossover that I tried to support was the Amazons crossover that they did, and they spoiled it. They literally spoiled it in terms of what was going to happen in the books through not only just their pre-order stuff, but just their advertising. They just really, if you're trying to do a crossover and you know what's going to happen, what's the incentive to go out and go buy the next book? It makes no sense. I'm not going to spend $6, $7 or $4 or $5 on a book, and I already know what's going to happen in the book. I have to be a real big fan of the book for me to like really want to do that. Even though, and that's what happened with the Amazon's book. I didn't even buy the last issue, the last 2 issues, because they blew it. They spoiled it. I knew what was going to happen before the books came out, so it's like I ain't doing that no more. So Jay says, do you think anyone, if given a chance, would write more stories for Lobo? And who would you want to write it? Lobo is now, what's the word I'm looking for? Public domain. I would like David Walker. I could see David Walker writing a Lobo story. I don't know if Jeffrey Thorne is a Western guy, but I would have to say David Walker. If there was a Lobo story, I would want David Walker to write it. I would want Chuck Brown to illustrate it. I like Chuck Brown's style. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but I like Chuck Brown. Another person that I would like that could write Lobo, probably now you got me thinking, because it's like, do I want him to do that, or would I want him to do a Reno Jones Gunn book? I think I would be more intrigued with doing a Reno Jones Gunn book than that, but I would like to see David Walker write Lobo. I would like if he could do a story. I think David Walker would knock it out the park. I'm trying to think of somebody else. I don't want to say Rodney Barnes, because I like Rodney Barnes, but I don't know if Rodney Barnes could pull off a Western. I think David Walker could. That guy's David Walker is a unicorn, in my opinion. This is a guy that has done, well, he's doing Planet of the Apes, which by the way, guys, is a pretty good book. Issue 2 just came out. It's a pretty good book. I know everybody don't rock with the apes, but I do. And I'm enjoying David Walker's writing on that. So, but yeah, I would say David Walker, bro. David Walker. Who's the young lady that did the new Rocket as Icon? Her humor is really good. We just did an interview with her too. Derek, you're gonna have to help me out with that one. Derek's got Professor Time. Not Professor Time. Dr. Wizard, you got to help me out with that one. I can't think of her name. Stephanie Williams. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, yeah. We just did an interview with her. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Any suggestions for any new indie comic books? Indie comics. Well, let me see. I got some books here. Well, of course, you should be reading this, Mosley, Boom Studios Mosley. You should be reading that. Guys making me work tonight. Let me see what else I got here. Now this is that free comic book Night Terrors that you guys were talking about earlier. That they're getting ready to do the crossover. I don't like that they did that. Funny thing is, look what they got at the top of it. Dawn of DC. They're literally doing this crossover in the middle of a relaunch. Makes no sense, but that's DC. Let's see. Now, this is one that has been going on. They've been releasing this book real slowly. This Rogue State, Black Mass Studios book. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. Chuck D does the art or does the cover art on this book. Chuck D of Public Enemy does this, but this is a pretty good story. Rogue State, you might want to check that out. As far as other independent stuff, let me see. I don't think Kevin Greavy just did a book called Winter Ember for a video game. He just did a one shot, I think that's what it was, for a game called Winter Ember. That's pretty good. Now he says Punchline in the Vaudevillians. Yeah, that's a good story. We need Philadelphia Code with the Sanksters, Nita Hall, Seesaw, Tucson Spawn, and an A cover. Thanks, Rich. Yeah. What is Rogue State about? Rogue State is basically about if the if the United States was like to really become an outlaw state, meaning that, you know, the laws are done away with. It's literally basically almost like the Purge, if that was kind of the rule of the day. It's not, you know, it's a lawless state, basically. That's why it's called Rogue State. But it's basically about America and what kind of world would America be if there was like no law and order. Pretty good book. Pretty good book. Yeah, Deep Cuts. That's another good one. Yes, I enjoyed the first one. First was about Louisiana jazz. Now they also, from I understand, they're all supposed to be different, you know. But Deep Cuts, you know, so far it's been pretty dope. I'm trying to think what else. What else? I don't have my books in front of me as to what else I could recommend you guys read. Give me a second. Let me grab a box. I got books. It's gotta. No, that's too much to go through. I took a lot of books. I'm sorry. I took a lot of books to my storage unit, and I got a few here. But those few books that I did name are pretty cool. So, Rich, are you reading No/1? No, I'm not. Have not read it. Have not actually seen it. To be honest. The books that I am reading Superman Lost by Christopher Priest. Pretty good book. I know some of you guys don't like Superman, but if you're going to read a book, if you're going to read Superman book, you might as well read it by a black writer. And Christopher Priest is the GOAT. So Superman Lost is pretty good. And it's basically about Superman crossing a barrier, and he's kind of like, if Superman was able to like cross time or break the time space continuum barrier. And he comes back and he's dealing with life, trying to figure out who he is and that kind of thing. It's a pretty trippy story. But I'm also reading the Gunslinger, all the stuff from the Spawn universe. I'm reading that. And of course, you know, Chuck Brown, Scar. Enjoying that. Scar is a pretty good book. So yeah. And like I said earlier about the Green Lantern, there's a secondary story, Green Lantern John Stewart book. You should be reading that as well. And of course, like I said, I brought up David Walker, Planet of the Apes. He says the ambassadors exiled. I am reading Exiled. The ambassadors. Are you talking about the antagonists? Black Comedy Lords? I don't know about the ambassadors. I know about the antagonists. Yeah, Superman is an astrophysicist in that book. Yeah. So, you know, but I mean, you know, look, it's a different take on Superman. You guys, you know, it is what it is. I am enjoying this as well. I'm waiting for the next book to come out. The Waller versus Wildstorm. That's been a pretty good book. It's a Black Label book. Are you ready for Secret Invasion? I am. I am ready for Secret Invasion. Samuel L. always does this thing, you know what I'm saying? And we looking forward to that. The only problem I have with Secret Invasion is well, I don't have a problem. I guess because Michael Bendis, when he wrote this book, it was a mind job. And so what's being able to discern what's real and what's not real, that's going to be an issue. But I will say that the Ambassador is a real book from Image. Okay, I haven't seen it. You know, by Mark Millar. Okay, gotcha. I hadn't seen it. Mark Millar is writing a lot of stuff. He has his own imprint, and that might be from his own imprint. But we'll see. I might have to go to the shop to try to find it. So I don't know about it. What's it? Somebody tell me what's it about. Paul says Wildstorm was dope as AF. Yep. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Secret Invasion, and hopefully all the Black Panther enthusiasts will see that T'Challa was a Skrull, and T'Challa be back. Hopefully. Don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. We shall see. His imprint is supposed to be for shows for Netflix in the future. Yeah, Mark Millar is. I mean, he's the guy that did Prodigy, and you know, that the last iteration of Prodigy was pretty good, almost unbelievable, but pretty good. So, what do y'all think about Jon Stewart and Steel side stories before this series comes out? I mean, you know, again, I think it's cool. It's a cool setup. You know what I'm saying? It helps, you know, guys that are reading these other titles, you know, hey, you know, this secondary story is okay. I'm looking forward to maybe I'll check out issue 1 of Steelworks. You know, again, I you know, to me, particularly John Henry Irons, I should say Dr. John Henry Irons, because he's an engineer, is very intriguing. That secondary story in that Action Comics 1054 was pretty good. And so, you know, it's an action, it was an action book. I mean, you know, he just wasn't brooding over certain things or whatever. It was action in that mini story. I'm hoping that it you know, it propels Steelworks to be, you know, it's going to be an issue 1, so it's going to sell. But the key is that it don't be a drop off. That's the thing. For whatever reason, everybody runs to the store to buy an issue 1, which is why Marvel and DC like putting out issue 1s. But they account that some of that is going to drop off. if a book sells 25,000 copies, right, of an issue, and then the second issue comes out, they kind of know that maybe 20 to 30% of people that bought the first book are not going to buy issue 2 because they're oftentimes there are spec buys. So the covers that they're doing for Steelworks looks incredible. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm a Steel guy. I won't buy, I don't know how many covers there is, but I will probably buy a variant or 2. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Are you into Valiant Comics? The new X-O-Man of War is good. I am. You know what? The funny thing is, I'm not old school variant, but I'm like, well, I guess I'm like volume 2 variant, if that makes any sense. What I mean by that is I don't enjoy, like, for example, I don't enjoy the first Shadow Man, the first volume of Shadow Man. I didn't like that. But I did enjoy the second volume of Shadow Man. Quantum and Woody is my John. I love Quantum and Woody. People don't know that M.D. Bright and Christopher Priest created Quantum and Woody. Black superhero in that. Black creator. I love that. X-O-Man of War. I'm enjoying that. Matter of fact, I'll show you this is some of the Dwayne McDuffie books that Dwayne McDuffie wrote on X-O-Man of War. This is X-O-Man of War, number 17. Yeah, number 17. This is 18. This is the GOAT, Dwayne McDuffie. He wrote these. That's 19. I don't have 20 in front of me. 20 is somewhere over there, and this is 21. But this is a volume that he wrote. But yeah, I hadn't had a chance to read the new X-O-Man of War, and I do enjoy Ninjak. I do enjoy Ninjak or Ninja K, depending on who you talk to. So yeah, I definitely enjoy Valiant Comics. Yeah, Quantum and Woody is amazing. I learned about that story from the OG. Appreciate it, Amir. Thank you. Black Panthers and the Avengers. Okay, Robert, you put it out there, so let me go on and talk about it. Shout out to Paul. I'm glad my man is in the building. So, yes, Avengers 1 came out, and we know that there's a Black Panther run written by Dr. Eve Ewing in June, but Avengers 1 came out last week, and T'Challa is in the book. I posted the panels, or a couple of the panels from the book, in our Black Comic Lords YouTube space. Not YouTube, I'm sorry, Facebook space. And there's a interchange between T'Challa and Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. And she's kind of like, well, you know what you did was wrong. You're not a king no more. You're not even technically the Black Panther. I mean, she just really shaded the God like that. I'm like, bruh, you can't do that. You cannot do that to T'Challa. He's sitting there, he's in the middle of a fishing boat. He's still brooding. He's still smarting from Ridley's run. But anyway, he says, here we go. Look. And she tells him, she says, T'Challa, come home. Now, I'm not a spring chicken, right? But when a white woman tells you, a white woman tells a black man to come home, I just need y'all to think about that. That was in the comic book. Derek, I don't know if you can bring it up. Said, Rich, did you know that Christopher Priest wrote the 82? Yes, I did. Yes, sir. I have that. I have like 2 or 3 full runs of that Christopher Priest Falcon book. Yeah. So he says, oh, great. Carol shades him as if every black woman in Wakanda hasn't done that enough. So look, so anyway, she says, Chala, just come home. You know, and I get what she was saying, but as black men, and shout out to the sisters if you out there, but as black men, and you're reading this white woman tell this black man that this African king, this sovereign of a nation, most powerful nation on the planet, come home. You know, something is just off about that. Now, of course, she was talking about, you know, come back and be an Avenger. And Paul says, I had mad issues with that depiction. Yeah, I mean, bruh, it was, listen, you know what's funny? What's funny is I'm surprised no one's really talking about this, that what was in the book. I mean, I'm pretty sure Herschel, you know, I'm pretty sure Herschel saw that and probably got a good chuckle. He says, cousin Carol have Rhodey at house already. She does, but it was the way it was written and the way it was framed that's kind of problematic. But what she basically was getting at, just come back and be an Avenger, which is what he's doing. He's going to be in the Avengers book. It is what it is. I mean, you know, well, I take it back. We don't know if he's going to be a part of the Avengers based on what's going on in Wakanda and with the Eve Ewan run. But he does make an appearance in the book, and he's suited up in the book. And so I don't know. They kind of left it open to whether or not he's going to be an Avenger or not. Chances are he's going to probably be an Avenger. But according to the Eve Ewing run and the first few stories that we're getting in Black Panther's in, or T'Challa is in Wakanda. So we'll see. We shall see. We don't know. Maybe we'll find out whether or not he's going to be an Avenger in issue 2 of Avengers. But yeah, I just read that and I had a side eye and then I laughed about it, which is why I posted it in our YouTube group. So yeah. He said, I would have touched upon it this week, but I'm tired of the backlash every time I mention Black Panther's portrait. Yeah, well, it's okay, bro. I got your back, Paul. I got your back. You know, and again, I think that this is just a fallout from that. I think that because that run, the Ridley run, was so polarizing, it's going to take a minute to kind of wash that off, so to speak. They got to deal, the Marvel writers or the people that's going to be doing stories going forward. If they're going to keep up, quote unquote, continuity, they got to deal with it in some capacity. So in this Avengers book, they dealt with it from the standpoint that, okay, he's kind of on the outside. They see how he's been done. They, you know, some of them helped him fight, you know, the battle with Jahai. And so it's kind of like, do we really want to keep this up? But yeah, it says the post 2016 Black Panther fans are tiresome. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, bro. I mean, you know, we do have a Black Panther book coming out in June, so look forward to that. And I'm sure that the Dr. Ewing will do a great job. Please do a great job. Please, 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 please. Because the Black Panther fans are all over the place. It's a question, Rich. Who would you think would win a fight between Icon and Blue Marvel? Blue Marvel. And that's because Blue Marvel is his power set is, it's not even based on Icon's tech or his power set is based on alien technology. whereas Blue Marvel is literally cosmic being almost. Dude lives on the moon. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that if there's no, like some of these guys like to say, are we talking about preparation time or no preparation time? If they just kind of walked upon each other, I think Blue Marvel would win, you know, hands down. Icons is a thinker though, and I mean he's having his hands full with hardware, which is I'm asking, can somebody tell me when does the next Icon versus hardware versus Icon book? Because that's been a good series, but they have literally been dragging their feet with that book. That book needs to be out like yesterday. He said Blue Marvel would vaporize Icon with an antimatter blast in the story. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, there's a reason why Blue Marvel has been on the shelf the way he has. He's an overpowered character that they cannot really write a story for. Not because that they can't, but because they have chosen to not want to deal with that. I wish they would give the book back to Kevin Greavy. Let him tell a story. Because I think he clearly wants to do it. It's his creation. It belongs to Marvel, though. But I think they should give him a shot back at it. Yeah. Top 10 says Blue Marvel would one-shot it. Yeah, pretty much. But also, you know, we got to take into account of the writer of the story, because for those that don't know, Silver Sable sucker punched Blue Marvel in a Doctor Doom book. So, I mean, if this little white woman could sucker punch Blue Marvel, I don't know. Icon might not be as how can I put it? I don't know. I don't know if it would be just that easy to hit him with an anti. It could happen, but it says to me though in the comic book that he can be sucker punched. So I don't know. we you know, that's comics, guys. That's comics. Yeah. A minute. Somebody called Doctor Who. Let's go back 8 or 9 years and pull a Star Trek 4 time travel movie. Yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's all relative, bro. I mean, I think that Blue Marvel is in a Defenders book right now, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know what's going on with that. That goes to show you how crazy that is. The fact that he's been in teen books, but they and many of the teen books that he's been in, you can find in dollar bins. Whether we're talking about the Ultimates, even now, no one talks about the Defenders book. It says Pericles says, and fanboys complained about T'Challa putting Silver Surfer in a full Nelson. You can't do that. It's comics. Anything can happen in comics, guys. It is what it is. I don't. And listen, you get no argument from your boy. That, you know, it's weird because my favorite character is Black Lightning. That's my favorite character. I just identify with Black Lightning more than any other character. I love Blue Marvel. You know what I'm saying? But I don't identify with him, not because I find him to be intriguing. He is, but he's so super powered. And he's almost unrelatable because he's so super powerful. You know, he lives in the bottom of the ocean, or he lives on the moon. He's he's not even in the realm. He's literally like a cosmic being. You know what I'm saying? And while he has a relationship with Monica Rambeau, and shout out to Herschel, because they were talking about that early on the show that he did with another YouTube podcaster guy on TikTok. I just don't know if anyone other than Kevin Greavy could really write a story that would be amazing with him. Because, like I said, the books that he's in, they're not necessarily the greatest books. I mean, you know, nobody's screaming about how great the Ultimates books were, and they were books that had him and Black Panther in. Good stories, and they fought Thanos and Galactus. That's the other part. That's crazy to me when you think about it. You have a superhero team with Blue Marvel and Black Panther on the same team, and they fought Galactus and Thanos. Why isn't that book more lauded for? I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the writing. Maybe us as black comic heads missed the boat with that when that series came out. I don't know. I know I wasn't in the community when that book came out. You know, but when you think about it on the surface, think about it. Blue Marvel, Black Panther on the same team. Wow. And they're fighting Galactus and Thanos, two of the biggest bads in the Marvel universe. So don't they have to keep using Blue Marvel? If not, they will lose his rights. That's a possibility, Amir. Absolutely. You know, maybe it's the Miles Morales treatment. I don't know. I know that they got problems. I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to get started on the Miles Morales situation in Marvel. You know, but anyway, let's see what's going on. This is, okay, Rich, this is another controversial. Who will win in a fight? Sentry versus Blue Marvel. Well, we had that fight. No, what? No, maybe we did. Maybe that was Hyperion. I'm thinking about. He fought. Yeah, he fought. He fought Sentry. He fought Sentry. He beat Sentry. I think in the original Adam Legend of Blue Marvel, if I'm not mistaken. It was either him or it was Hyperion, but I think it was him. I think it was Sentry. They had that fight, Austin. I think they had that fight. It's in the first run. Yeah, he did. Thank you, Azur. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they had that fight already. Go get that let me see. I don't know which book it's in. But yeah, that's in the first volume. That's in the first volume of Adam, the Legend of Blue Marvel, that limited 5-issue. That's in that. Yeah. Okay, here's one. Blue Marvel versus Omni-Man. Are you talking about the dude from you're not talking about the dude from Invisible, are you? Invincible. Man. I don't know. That's a hard one. But Blue Marvel is antimatter. He masters antimatter. I mean, really, he's ops. I mean, he is overpowered. He could wash him by just hitting him with some antimatter. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if we really understand what antimatter is. He could literally uncreate the guy. And I'm not saying that Blue Marvel can't be beat, because everybody can be beat, but it's when you look at it on the surface as far as power set, I don't even think it's a match. But now I'm not 100%, you know, I don't know everything about Omni-Man like that, but you know, I know he's brutal. I know that. So I just know that. So yeah. The Omni-Man loves to take blows to the face too much. Yeah. Marvel should revisit Deathlock. The last run was decent but flew under the radar. Well, you know, that's the thing about Deathlock. We do know that there's going to be a Deathlock sighting in Black Panther. But the thought is it's not Michael Collins. That's the only thing about that. Now, the Deathlock that all of us love and enjoy, that that Dwayne McDuffie and Dennis Cowan did, we hadn't seen that Deathlock in a minute. I mean, I think he's been around, but not like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about Deathlock is it's a machine, and there are several Deathlocks. That's the thing, you know. But should they revisit or redo it? I mean, absolutely. I mean, it was a dope character, but will they do it? I don't know. He said Blue Maul versus a Waffle House. Ah, you funny, C. Cole. You got jokes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's going to be in the new Black Panther book, but I don't know if I don't think it's Michael Collins. So that's the only thing about that. That's the only thing about that. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Rich, what do you think if Christopher Priest got a hold of Miles Morales? Um, I'm not sure. And the reason why I say I'm not sure is because I really wasn't impressed with the Christopher Priest Black Adam book. I just wasn't. I mean, it was cool. We got a new character, Bolt, out of it, but was I really, really impressed with the writing on that book? Not really. Um, and that's the thing about Christopher Priest. Um, Priest has done some great stuff, but you know, Priest will miss. Uh, he's human. um, and I say that respectfully. I mean, to his Black Panther run, which is incredible. His work he did on Quantum and Woody was amazing. The Falcon run that he did, that was dope. But he's done stuff that I can say that, you know, now I'm enjoying the Superman loss, but I just really wasn't impressed with the Black Adam book. I just hadn't been. Now, what could he do with Miles Morales? I think he could do something amazing for sure. I think that he could, to be respectful of Cody Ziegler and what Ziegler is doing. Now, I'll just simply say this: that he probably would go. He would. I think he would go out of his way to try to give Miles a bigger rose gallery. I think that if anything, Priest could contribute to that, he would create new villains for Miles Morales. I think that's what he would do, because that's what Miles needs. Miles is a dope character, but you know, at some point they gotta decide whether or not to just let him have his own villains, so he can shape his own story. But the fact that they got him and Peter Parker in the same universe, and they literally only blocks away from one another. You got two Spider-Mans kind of patrolling the same territory. It's starting to be a little, I don't know. And I mean, I don't know if bringing Miles Morales into the 616 was the greatest idea, because he was a beacon of light in the Ultimate Universe. Now I think he's fine where he is, but at the same time, you didn't really have to bring him in. Now the whole thought is maybe you want to bring him into the 616 to bring him into the MCU. But you hadn't done that yet, Mark. You got my mans out here in cartoons, and that's fine if that's what y'all want to do. But I'm just saying. He says, I think Priest will show that he is somehow manipulating the multiverse. I wish Marvel would let Cody write Miles books without that notes. Who really wanted a Carnage versus Miles story? Yeah. Bison for Life says, I think Priest has been spread too thin. Vampirilla, yes. Deathstroke was a good book, though. A heavy metal title, plus Superman lost the name a few. Yeah. Well, you know, if I'm not mistaken, I think he wrote the heavy metal book, The Entropy. I think that was his book. That got put out, and then they literally shut the story down. So that literally like a one shot. But he is probably spread thin. Bison for Life. Yeah. 100 Plus said they dropping the ball real bad with Miles. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I think I said in one of the last shows I did that I had questions. You know, and I think that part of it, there's some pressure. I think Cody's feeling some pressure, and then there's pressure from Marvel to, like you said, to put this Carnage story out, and it's like, why are we doing this? Marvel has this agenda, and they think these are bright ideas, and yeah, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna. It's like it's not always a good idea. I mean, they're gonna literally take Miles and bring him back to the Ultimate Universe for this 4-issue or one shot or whatever it is that Jonathan Hickman is writing. So it's like you're confusing a lot of fans. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we don't get that confused, I guess, when it comes to Peter Parker. So I guess they're saying, you guys will be okay. Maybe. I don't know. I just know it can be confusing. And it just doesn't sell. It tells me that you're not really sure what you want to do with the character. You know, you're just kind of throwing things at the wall to see if it sticks. I don't know. But yeah. So shout out to all you Miles Morales fans. Y'all on this roller coaster and you have no control. It is what it is. Question, Rich. This really bothers me. Should Miles Morales be an adult by now? Or should he stay young and keep needing a mentor? That's a good question. That's a good question. There are some that will say that they prefer Peter as a young guy. But there are others that say that he should grow up and he should have his own family. And I've read Peter Parker books where he's grown and he's not the same guy living with Aunt May and all that. And I'm not necessarily impressed with that. But at the same time, I do find the Peter Parker books when he's more of a young guy, you know, kind of just trying to find his way as a young adult. I like that portion of Peter Parker. Now, with Miles has been around 10 years. Technically, he would be in his mid-20s, I would guess, if we were going by timestamp. I think part of the problem is, see, I've shared this with people about what I want for Miles Morales, and that is a better Rose Gallery. So it's like, okay, in order for a character to progress or grow or whatever, right? Naturally speaking, he needs to have challenges that complement that growth. He needs to have even villains that complement that growth. But you're still trying to create stuff or new stuff, and you're not really sure. Now, I like Miles under some mentorship only because we haven't seen him really under mentorship under black characters. You know, it's been Peter Parker. Now it's Misty Knight. But at the same time, there's something to be said about, okay, well, y'all let this character grow up. I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think, because the problem is you don't have, you got to meet the guy where he is. And you really can't, because he's deficient in that area in terms of, if you're going to give him a story, then the story has to also complement what's the modus operandi for him to have a villain that doesn't grow with it, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense, because I'm just kind of rambling through that as I think about it. But I just think that they need to invest more in the character growth before they can even really proceed to even make him a little bit older, you know. Spoiler, I literally played $3.99 to see Miles in the sewer. Well, you know, that's money well spent, my brother. Stick it in a bag and put it in your long box. It is what it is. But no, I just think that if they give Miles Morales a Rose Gallery that's complementary to who he is as a person, it will go further along. I just think that they're making stuff up as they go because they're not really sure what they want to do with him. And the reason why they're not really sure what they want to do with him is because they really don't want to let go of Peter Parker. They really don't want to give Miles Morales his own identity, because then that takes work. And we talk about this all the time when it comes to original characters. The reason why we don't see original characters is because it takes work to create this universe or to create this world that you're going to put this new character in. So the thought is, well, I'm going to just take what's already here and I'm just going to paint this on it and let it go. And while that's fine for a little bit, it doesn't always bode well long term, because again, I tell people this, what is this? I asked the question rather, what is Miles Morales' signature story? What is the story that if I'm a comic book head and I had to recommend a Miles Morales story arc, what story would you tell me to go grab and why? One in 100 says, and they know that Miles will crush Peter if they did develop the Rose Gap. Yep. And that's why they don't want to do it. Because they don't want that to happen. They just don't. They don't want that to happen. They won't, you know, I was listening to one of our live shows recently, and we talked about how, you know, the fact that they want to bring Miles into the 616 in live action, and how that's literally like 5 years away. No time soon. You had a Spider-Man movie with 3 Spider-Mans in it, all of them white, all of them Peter Parker. Even though you talk about this multiverse thing, and you don't introduce the most popular of those 3, a character that's been around 10 years that has his own quote unquote story, but you leave him out. You don't even bring him in. You don't even allude to him. You don't even give him a post-credit scene. Nothing. It just says to me that we're not ready to deal with that for whatever reason. Are you reading The Riddler Year One? Yes, I am. That's a pretty good book. That's a pretty good book. Talk about and see, that's when you know that the character is dope. When you literally can put out a book about the villain. There is not another, name me another character whose rogues gallery have books other than Batman. I'll wait. With Batman, you have a character that has the Riddler, the Joker, the Penguin. When they want to be at odds with each other, Catwoman, Two-Face. Just those 5. You can literally do books on all of those characters. They have had runs. There's like 2 Riddler books out now. Year One, and I think there's another Riddler book as well. Joker has had several runs. Penguin, that one day Penguin book, that you should go get that. That's a pretty good book. Oswald Cobblepot is that dude. Frustrated says Batman has the best rogues behind Batman, Spider-Man, and then Flash's rogues great too. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, and that's why I love DC, man. I mean, when DC is on their game, DC washes Marvel. And that's not to say that Marvel doesn't have great characters and great stories and things, but I'm just like, bro, y'all don't. People wonder why Batman can have literally 10 titles on the shelf, because that guy's rogues gallery is crazy. That dude is Batman's rogues gallery is like the 96 Bulls. Ain't nobody in comic book fandom seeing that. Nobody. And you know why that is? Because they have literally taken Batman as a character, and each of these rogues that Batman faces are a component or a part of who Batman is. The Penguin is like Bruce Wayne in terms of the opposite of Batman. I'm sorry, the opposite of Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is a billionaire, right? Oswald Cobblepot is a mob figure, but he's known more for his money than anything. The Riddler represents Batman or Bruce Wayne's intellect, his ability to think, to discern things or whatever, figure out puzzles and all kind of crazy stuff. There's a reason why Batman's Rose Gallery is sick as it is. You know, it ain't even fair, bro. Robin Monroe says there's a lot of creators don't want to create new characters because they have no ownership. If the character becomes popular and winds up in the MCU, Disney makes millions and the creator gets peanuts. I will say this, Robert. I'm going to probably do a show next week. And in that show, I'm going to talk about, I'll probably do a segment because I've been thinking about it. Why there needs to be a new franchise. We need a new franchise. Marvel and DC have held the minds of the American or the Western public for decades. We need something different. We really do. We've had the Turtles. We've had Transformers. We've had G.I. Joe. We have all of these different things, but nothing is checking Marvel and DC. You can hate on Marvel and DC all day long. People don't realize how much Marvel and DC make just on the negative stuff. I said it earlier that all publicity is better than no publicity. So when all of these guys get on YouTube and they rant and rave about how bad DC and Marvel comics are, they don't even realize that they helping DC and Marvel in ways that DC and Marvel can't even pay for. They're literally sitting in their offices and saying, thank you. And you're right. Creators don't want to create new characters because if they have no ownership, I get it. But it's almost better to create your own character and start off, you know, on the ground level versus trying to go to DC. And this is why we have creators now that have Substacks. You know, remember a couple years ago, Substack, they grabbed Chip Zdarsky, they grabbed James Tynion, they grabbed Rodney Barnes, they grabbed a whole lot of great creators. And now these guys have content that is exclusively theirs, that if you like this dude's writing, you can invest in that dude directly by supporting his Substack. That's been that. Funny thing is, that's the future. But a lot of people have been slow to jump on that train. But these guys are like, oh man, we got to get up, we got to get ahead of this. Because, you know, Rodney Barnes, he doesn't own Mandalorian, but he doesn't need to. He has Philadelphia. Zombie Love Studios, that's his. You know what I'm saying? There are guys out here that are doing it, but you know, people have for the longest thought, well, you know what? I just want to work at Marvel and DC because that's their fandom coming out. But it's like, okay, if you're going to have something for yourself, then you really can't go to Marvel and DC because they're going to own the characters. They're going to own the property. They're going to revamp it. They're going to do all kind of things that you probably wouldn't want them to do with it. It is what it is. Neil Adams says he's got 6 figures from DC when some of his was used in a movie from Marvel when he sees something embarrassing. Yeah. Would you say Flash has the second best Rose Gallery? Behind Spider-Man, but not the second best. Not the second best. All of Batman's Rose got the one-day book. I didn't even bring up Ra's al Ghul. I didn't even bring up that dude. For DC, I should say yes. Most of Flag's roles were part of Suicide Squad. Yeah. Hating buying is a thing in Marvel and DC. See Spider-Man. The Substack doesn't have behemoth marketing distribution operations. I don't, and you're right, H&H, but I don't think they necessarily need to. You know, because these guys have kind of made their bones at the big 2. And I mean, I give you an example. James Tynion, when he was writing Batman, when he was really in his zone at Batman, there was nothing that dude could do wrong. That dude literally was the best writer at the time. But right behind him was Chip Zdarsky. Chip Zdarsky's been around a long time. Chip Zdarsky been writing books. But it wasn't until he got to Daredevil that he seemed to really find his niche. And then he wrote that incredible run for Daredevil, and then he started doing other stuff. And before you know it, he's the guy. He's the guy now. That book that he did, Public Domain. There's a limited series that he did called Public Domain. That is insanely good. You should go get that by Chip Zdarsky. Amazing. Amazing. It's about a comic book writer getting the rights to his property back. It's an amazing story. You should go get that. Robin Monroe says, that's why Millar is doing what he's doing, creating his own IPs. Same with Saki, with Yusegi and Jimbo. Yeah. And that's the thing, some of these guys, like the titles that he just mentioned, Robert just mentioned, those are niche titles. Everybody's not going to go after that. But that Yusegi and Jimbo, that's been around forever. It's been around forever. But it's like, you know what? I don't need to have I don't need everybody to clap. I just need these people over here that rock with me. I just need for them to keep clapping. Rodney Barnes may not get a big book at Marvel. It may be as big as Mandalorian, may be as big as it gets, even though he wrote Falcon. He might get a shot at another title or whatever, but he's told us in interviews that he would love to write, I think it is Swamp Thing at DC. He wants to do something like that, something that's just not conventional. So it's about almost kind of finding that niche. New Burn by Chip is fire too. Yes, absolutely. Love New Burn. New Burn is amazing. I was late to the New Burn train. So, but yeah, I mean, there's great content out here, guys. And again, I listen, Marvel and DC are the behemoths. They are the giants. They are the Godzillas and King Kongs of the comic book. It is what it is. And the game goes kind of the way but I wish that, there were other brands out here that were kind of challenging that. And we have some instances of that, Todd McFarlane's work at Image through Spawn, the Spawn universe challenges that. Is it ever going to wash Marvel or DC? No, probably not. This generation of Batman, comic book, Superman, fans will probably have to die out before that stuff becomes passe. But the thing is, like anything in life or whatever, it'll all at some point, become passe. It won't be the most popular thing. Now it is now, but it decline. It will eventually at some point decline. The kids, they read an anime. Anime may be the very thing that washes Marvel and DC in 20, 30 years. But not now. This Image has great title, but the runs are long mostly. Yeah. And I think part of that is because they recognize that people's attention span is short, and they're not going to do. People just find other things to do. So Luke Cage has a big rose gallery that hasn't been seen in 40 years. Well, it's Luke Cage. What else we gonna say? I mean, again, like my man Otis likes to say, villains drive story. And Luke Cage has had more success with, I would say, the Power Fist team up in his solo titles, but it is what it is. Seco says, Image books tend to have a set run. Those books are not meant to run forever. Fantastic Four is a great Rose Gallery. They do. They do. On a cosmic level, absolutely. It gets no bigger than Galactus. You know what I'm saying? But and I'll be glad to see Galactus when he does come to the MCU. That's gonna be pretty cool. I read somewhere recently too that some black character was they was thinking of giving some black actor the role of Galactus. I can't think of who it was, but I did read that somewhere. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Well, look, guys, we are over 2 hours in this show. It's time for me to get up off of here and get myself ready for tomorrow. But we close out Marvel DC run franchises. The writers are just managing the story. I couldn't have said it better, H&H. That's it in a nutshell. But look, I'm going to go on and get out of here, guys. I thank you guys for your time. I thank you for the super chat. Thank you all you guys for sharing and supporting. Actually, hit the like button on your way out the door. Support our channel. Check out some of our content. And before we close this thing out, remember to please support your favorite comic book series. Pre-order before the final cutoff date. Get a subscription. Get a pull list at your local comic shop. It's important. If you don't have a comic shop in your community, you can always go to blackcomiclords.net, and there is a Things Forever. I'm missing up the thing. There's a link where you can go and buy comics online. You can get a pull list online. You can go there and pre-order your books there. But we can't stress enough the importance of doing that, because these are the sales that count. The sales on the walls are great, but they don't count like the pre-order. Shops will only buy books if they know people are coming in to buy them. Things from Another World. Thank you. You can go there and set up a pull list. And of course, here's some of our content, our recurring lives, Wakanda Whiskey and Blerdum. Yours truly, Ladies Live with Tamiko and Brianna and Angel. And you can check out many of our interviews that we've done over the past several months. And yeah, we got a lot of content on our YouTube channel. So please go and check that out. Whether we're talking spec stuff, we're talking about interviews with different creators. And we're not talking about small potatoes, guys. These are some big deals. Dr. E. Ewan, Dr. John Jennings, and of course, Cody Ziegler, who's writing the Miles Morales Spider-Man book, and Sebastian Jones, who's got it going on the independent side of Stranger Comics. He's one success story as well. So there's a lot of stuff for you to go look at. There's a lot of stuff for you to peruse. You go to our website, www.blackcomiclords.net, find Black Keys, find content, blog, entries, videos, all kinds of sorts of fun stuff. Merch, we got it all there for you. But as we get ready to get out of here, oh yes, congrats to Old Kingdom Come on the Glyph Award. Shout out to those guys over there. We just had the interview with the creator. So he's doing big things. But as I get out of here, I got one word of encouragement. Proverbs 4:7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all thy getting, please get an understanding. It's your boy Rich on behalf of the stronghold that is Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever. Until next time, we say peace, love. Thanks again. We'll see you next week. We out.